watching Merlon hee-haw. Not sure if I'm a song or a cliche or a hidden sleigh, but it's pretty funny either way. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. Going down the rabbit hole of my own mind, never sure just what I'll find. But worrying all night, it never helped me sleep alright. And I know I'll be there when you come home. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. Let's take it. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. It's funny how you say that I never go away. Seems to me like I'm running every day. But after midnight Eastern, well, I'm always trying to reach you in lighted lines that vanish in a haze. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. Spending the night alone, getting stoned, watching Merlon hee-haw. Spending the night alone, getting stoned, watching Merlon hee-haw. Not sure if I'm a song or a cliche or a hidden sleigh, but it's pretty funny either way. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. sure just what I'll find. But worrying all night, it never helped me sleep alright. And I know I'll be there when you come home. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. Let's take it. Sometimes you need a night alone. Sometimes you just need to know you can take the night off. It's funny how you say that I never go away. Seems to me like I'm running it every day. But after midnight Eastern, well, I'm always trying to reach you in lighted lines that vanish in a haze.
Hello, y'all. We are back with another episode of By the Bonfire. Thanks for hanging out with us here. I have with me Miss Cindy Emch. She is a queer country artist that started out in rural Michigan and finds herself now in Oakland, California, where she was just telling me about her rhubarb plot. She has a band called the Secret Emchy Society. If you have not heard them, check them out. They have 5 albums out, and they are working on a 6th album. So definitely check all that out. And without further ado, I'll bring it over to Cindy.
Hey y'all, I'm going to kick off with playing you a couple songs. This first one is the title track off our last record called Queen of Assholes, and the song is Queen of Assholes. Sorry means a lot, but silence says the more. And here I am out on the road, I've been right here before. Sorry means a lot, sometimes you gotta guess what those people really mean when they say they love you best. All I know is my heart, and all I know is this ain't no way to start. So if you're looking, sometimes you gotta get, just hand me the crown. Ain't no way I'll let you tear me down. Well, East Lansing was the first time, and I said goodbye, old friend. And don't forget Wisconsin, where we fucked it up again. Lots of people think I'm nice to a fault. But just wait till you piss me off, and then all bets are off. All I know is my heart, and all I know is this ain't no way to start. So if you're looking for the queen of assholes, just hand me the crown. Ain't no way I'll let you tear me down. Well, it's not the final chapter, and this ain't all she wrote. The bones they trail behind me in a liturgy of nope. If you ever need to find me, well, if you ever need a friend, I'll be right here waiting until you raise that voice again. All I know is my heart, and all I know is this ain't no way to start. So if you're looking for the queen of assholes, just hand me the crown. Ain't no way I'll let you tear me down. Oh, thanks for all your little hearts in the chat. That's really sweet and awesome. Super happy to be here. The second song I'm going to play is called Where My Heart Is Not, and I wrote it sitting in a parking lot on the last day of tour. In a parking lot with carnival lights, but the circus has long left town. When the wind kicks through the foothills, whipping your hair around. Time keeps going forward, can't turn back the clock. And all I know is where you are and where my heart is not. Feet on the gravel, wheels in the ground, it's almost time to go. The songs that we sing die with my voice and the bruises that never show. But time keeps going forward, can't turn back the clock. And all I know is where you are and where my heart is not. Laughing, leaning forward, we're almost out of gas. These miles on our hearts map our future and our past. But time keeps going forward, can't turn back the clock. And all I know is where you are and where my heart is not. All I know is where you are and where my heart is not. All I know is where you are and where my heart is not.
Hell yeah, that was
Hello,
great.
Bonnie.
Thanks for being
Thank
on.
you.
That was great.
Thank you. It was super fun to play you a couple of sensitive songs.
Yeah, and especially, you know, it's always cool to hear like the acoustic versions of stuff.
Yeah.
When you hear them in another way. I don't know if I want to ask you stuff about you or your songs first. I think I'm gonna immediately go towards songs. So like hearing Queen of Assholes like that, is that how you write? Like when you first wrote Queen of Assholes, is that it?
Yeah.
And then you built everything else out from it?
Yeah. It started as a very sensitive song. I mean, it's one of the most vulnerable songs I've ever written because it was written right after I had a falling out with a friend, and I was so angry and so hurt, and like all the feelings, right? Which makes for great songwriting. But I was like writing it like a heartbroken, sad little, artist monkey, and it was just like, it hurt so much. And at the time, I was playing with a band that was much more acoustic, and our next show that we had, where we were going to debut the song, was like terrifying because I felt like everyone's going to know what this is about, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to be a horrible person, but also like I'm writing a song that like is my truth, and it's just like, okay, nobody knew what the hell the song was about except me, and then the one person I told, and but yeah, when I first start writing the song, especially like they all kind of are like a much slower pace, very acoustic, and then the magic of that song is I have this wonderful drummer, Reverend Tommy Salami, and that is all like real names. His name is actually Tom Rocker Salami, so it's like you can call him Reverend Rocker, and it's not even a fake name. And I'm like, your
Like
family is so cool.
His Christian name is Salami?
Yes.
I fucked up. I should have. Why aren't I Bonnie Salami? Like,
So
what?
I was playing, this mellow acoustic version of that song, and he was like, "Okay, but so what if we did this?" And I was just like, "Oh, hold on, this could actually be a wonderfully angry, like fierce, sort of boundary setting song." Because for me, that's what the song is about. It's like, if I set a single boundary, does that make me an asshole? And it actually made me feel like I was the queen of assholes to even have like a single tiny boundary. And so I wrote this song about the guilt I had about trying to do self-care and like not just let somebody walk all over me. And I was like, this could be raucous and angry and like fun. And it turned into that. And what I didn't expect was that every time I introduced the song and I'm like, oh, this is a song for people who want to have boundaries. Like, it is, the women in the audience lose their minds like, yeah. And then they're just like, everybody wants to be the queen of assholes, apparently. So I wasn't expecting that particular reaction, but I was very happy for it because people clearly want to feel like they have the entitlement or the agency to be like, yeah, I'm going to be a jerk if it means protecting myself. So sure, that's me. And I'm like, I'm here to serve.
have way more questions for you on that later. I just looked in the camera and I was like, my overalls are backwards, and then I unhooked them and they broke.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, I'm wearing a shirt under them. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm making it work for now. I definitely have more questions for you about that, but
Okay.
For the folks in the chat that don't know as much about you, or just for maybe for people that want some more biographical information, like tell us a little bit about like when did you start playing, how did you get like that whole kit,
the whole jam.
Yeah, that one.
So,
you know the question.
I do. I know that one. I like it. So I actually started singing when I was about 7 years old, and the story is actually, I find it charming myself. Like, which is, anyway, my mom used to play accordion when I was a kid, and so when she would practice, in order to like keep an eye on me, probably she'd be like, "Hey, come sing these songs along with me while I play the accordion." And that was really how I got introduced to music. And she tried to teach me at the time, but an adult accordion is not something you should hand to a 7-year-old because it was weighed more than I did. So I was like, it didn't work then. But I started learning to sing.
What background is your mother?
Like French, English, Irish, like British Isles, tiny bit of French, and then filtered through like a few hundred years of Canada before they came. My great-great-grandparents came over to the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, like in the Thunder Bay region of Canada.
I was just wondering if she was like super French or Italian and brought the but continue.
It was very like at the time in Detroit, it had one of the biggest accordion factories in the country, aside from San Francisco, which also had a really big accordion factory back then. And like, it was hip for all the kids to learn accordion. So like Detroit in the 40s, 50s, everyone's like learning accordion. So, awesome. In the 80s, she still wanted to practice sometimes. And she has since given me her accordion I had then had an accordion band later when I did learn. So I taught myself how to play guitar with like a Leonard Cohen and a Tom Waits songbook because someone taught me how to read tablature, and I had a job working at a park at a boat launch guard. I learned to play because I had this job where I had all this downtime. So I think I was 13 or 14.
So just 13, just like, as a 13-year-old girl, I really need to learn these Tom Waits songs.
I was. And Leonard Cohen too. I was like, no, this is how I'm going to do it. And so I've always wanted a deeper voice than what I had. I trained myself into it. So I used to work at the city boat launch in this little farm town and sell fishermen their $1 boat launch, credits. And I would just sit there and be like, trying to learn at the same time. Yeah. And it was really cute because like sometimes the fishermen would like have a guitar and they'd be like, I like Leonard Cohen. And I was like, what weird world is this? Like, I hate my crappy little farm town. Like, well, how do you people know good art?
So you have some the mouth people of a sailor by, you got it the old-fashioned way.
I did. Yeah. So I taught myself how to play guitar at the boat launch, over many summers. And then when I was older and had moved out to the Bay Area, I ended up picking up the accordion. And I had an accordion band, a couple of them actually, for a few years, and then geography and other people's like
Well, no
life
wonder
paths
you're like
took
a
them away.
multi-instrumentalist, though, because playing the accordion's like playing 3 separate instruments at once.
can
For those of y'all that don't know, accordion's like one of the hardest instruments on the planet to play. It's not a joke. It's very serious.
It's very fun to rock out on an accordion, though. Like, I have done like the guitar soloist like stage slide on your knees, like reach up with the accordion, and there is nothing more fun than that. Like, it feels very badass to like stage slide with an accordion. I'm like, it was great, and thankfully somebody got a picture, because I was like, if no one had gotten a picture, I would have been so bitter, but
Yeah,
they
I'm gonna
did.
need
So
to see that at some point. That sounds
I'll send you a copy.
amazing.
It's really
Amazing.
funny.
Weird Al could never.
But yeah, so, and then after the accordion bands kind of went on hiatus, I decided I wanted to keep playing music because I had been bitten by the bug. And so I formed my own solo project, and I was touring with my friend Carolyn, and I thought I was just going to be like her backup singer for a couple of shows because I was still getting songs together and like things weren't fully formed yet. And she was like, we got to the venue and she came up and she was like, well, okay, and you go on in 20 minutes. And I was like, pardon? She was like, you are going on with the songs I know you have in 20 minutes, and you can borrow my guitarist, and you can borrow my upright bassist, guitarist for lead, upright bassist just for general awesomeness. And yeah, you've got a 20 to 40 minute set. Starts in 20 minutes. Good luck. And I was all, what's happening? And it was the best, though. It was a total trial by fire, and it was wonderful, and things went great. And I mean, whoever gets to say that when it's a situation like that. Mm-hmm. And I've been playing live around the Bay Area and touring and up in Canada ever since. And that was in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm writing down a question to ask her. That is awesome. So, and then Secret Emchy Society, how long have you been doing that?
So that's about 2016.
Okay.
The kind of the joke, the joke of it was that I would have different musicians playing with me depending on what town I was in. So in Oakland, in the Bay Area, I pretty much have the same people all the time. But like if I tour up and down the coast, enough people have moved away from the Bay Area that like if I go to Portland, like I have an old bassist who lives there. If I go to Seattle, I have people who are there. And so I would just grab a different band depending on what city I was in. And so it became the Secret Emchy Society, because sometimes it was a secret even to me who was going to be in the band that night. I'm like, sometimes it's a society of one. I don't know. Like anything could happen. So mostly we're a 5-piece band, but it varies.
Yeah, Bonnie and the Mere Mortals is similar. Sometimes Bonnie and the Mere Mortals is just me, a mortal. And sometimes Bonnie and the Mere Mortals is 8 people on a tiny stage for a live album. It just truly depends. We just have a bunch of people that are in like the Mere Mortals barn, and it's like, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to do
Exactly.
this? Whoever we can get. Maybe we can get you to come play accordion for us sometime.
I mean, it could absolutely happen.
Arrangement, yeah.
I have accidentally become a third member of a duo one time when we were playing a show in Hollister. I blame the moonshine, but like apparently it went great. I saw some video. I don't remember it, but it was apparently wonderful.
Beautiful, just accidentally. So starting out as an accordion player, that has to color your songwriting like crazy, like because you have to think of so many different voices and so many different things when playing the accordion. I would think that would make you like your brain pretty like in an arranger state, you know, where you're thinking of multiple things, not just, you know, what's going to make my voice sound good on this, that, or like what lyrics do I want? Like, what's your songwriting approach?
Well, my songwriting approach is actually pretty organic for the initial ideas. Usually they come to me while I'm doing other very banal things, especially driving. Like driving is great for my songwriting. Also riding trains, like anything where I'm constantly in motion, I feel like things just happen that like trigger the way I see the world in a different kind of way, and it like gives me the mental space to pick up on moments of beauty or just seeing them in a different lens that makes it feel a little bit more cinematic or like they belong in a song to me. I have written a song while doing dishes, which got it has nothing to do with doing dishes, but it did get called Dishes, which I still think is very funny because I was like, why not? But so it's always born, usually is like lyrics first, and then the lyrics will like form a melody as I'm thinking about it. I get it into a voice memo, and then every so often I try to review the voice memos, and I'm like, is there a there? Is there a kernel of something I want to turn into something else? Sometimes they end up orphans that wait around for 10 years. Sometimes they're like, oh, no, that's a fully formed song right there. Like my accordion band is called Vagabondage, and we have a song called Throw the Goat that people love, and it literally came to me in a dream. I woke up, I walked into the other room so I wouldn't wake up my wife. I recorded it into my phone, and I wrote down all the words, and that song, as soon as I figured out what the melody was so I could figure out what the chords were, it is the same recorded on an album and played live as it was coming out of my brain from that dream.
Oh, wow.
And I found the old journal entry like a couple of years ago, and I was like, these are the original words I wrote in like sleep scrawl, and they are the same words that got kept. And I was like, that is, I assumed we had changed it a little because I wasn't, chronicling my life to remember it all. And I was looking and I was like, no, these are all the exact same words. That's crazy. How did we do that? Anyway.
I don't know anyone else besides me that does that, but I also
see, this conversation was meant to be.
Album, we have a song When She Whispers that's like one of our more like new wavy sounding songs, and I was dreaming about it, and I can like lucid dream a little bit, I don't have like complete control, but like I realized I was dreaming, woke myself up, and just made like voice memos where I like sang some of it, and then I was like, and then the drums would be like, and then the guitar, like it's just me half asleep doing that, and then woke up the next day and immediately like made a demo of it. But I was like, this is what the guitar should be like, this is what the bass should be doing, this is what the drums are doing, and here's like some lyrics for it. I didn't, obviously not all, but it was 2 lines of a verse and the like chorus hook that I had like dreamed about, and it's pretty much like what I remember it being when I dreamed. But like I think for me, I'm not trying to tell you about yourself, but okay. I think for me that is because I am a workaholic, and even when I'm asleep I'm still working on songs and things that I'm trying to figure out. I will neither
confirm nor deny that. But I will say that would be that voice memo would be amazing to put on a Hits the B-Sides album. I'm just saying. Like as an interstitial, that would be epic.
It would certainly be vulnerable.
Yes, that's true. Look at that. You're just putting it right out there.
It would certainly be vulnerable.
Yes.
We'll get to that later, but I don't know that I could. I don't know. I don't know. Do you have any questions for me? Just ask you on the spot.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't prepare. See, now we were talking before the cameras were rolling about how being pre-prepared like makes us able to be chill, and I did not pre-prepare. I was just like, I get to talk to my new friend Bonnie, and I'm so excited I can't even stand it. I even had decaf coffee today, so I don't even know. It's just so much energy. It's very exciting.
I've switched to the other side of the spectrum by this.
Nice.
But yeah, okay. Then I'll just ask you more questions. Oh, I did want to ask you that. I asked this to a previous guest, but I think I'm just gonna keep it. I think I'm just going to keep it because it definitely goes with this week's episode, which is, what is the first album that wrecked you? Like, and by that I mean like Matt, who, by the way, y'all, Matt could not be here today because he's got the laryngitis. He's been just done for the last 3 days, but he's very sad he can't be here. But he said every time he tries to talk, he's coughing. So Matt will be joining us again on the next one. But Matt is my guitarist and also an amazing musician, and has an album out. But he and I will talk about how, like, we're musicians because we can't do anything else, and if we weren't doing this, we'd die, and that's the only reason that we'll put up with the things that we put up with as musicians, because we are broken in a way that that makes it so this is the thing that we can do, and that's it. So you know, we're wrecked as people. So
yes.
what was the first album? Well, first off, what do you agree with that?
Oh, I do.
That?
I do. I think that there's something when I don't know if it's nature or nurture, but I feel like there is a way that artist brains are wired, and I include poets and, you know, actors and, you know, painters, all forms of art I include in this. There's a way that we are wired that we do this very public art, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But even if nobody ever saw it, like even if, you know, a poet's out like in a corner in a cemetery writing, you know, sad goth poetry. Yes, I did that, so I can self-reflecting. I mean, yeah. But like, even if you do that and no one ever hears or reads your poetry, you still have to keep doing it. Like, you can't stop. And there's some strange intrinsic desire to share it with people. And I think for me, it's about wanting to share a human experience, have that kind of connection. But as performers, there's also a weird way of like, we want that intrinsic connection. We want to reach out and share that moment with people. And also when you're at a crowded bar and there's 200 of those people, you're like, also, I don't want to have this connection once I'm off stage with every single one of you, because that's overwhelming. So it's like, there has to be a distance, or else there's just not enough like humanity of your own self to go around. And yet you need to share it all the time. And you're just like, it like fuels you constantly. And I think that's a bit of the part that is broken, right? Because like, you want to share this experience, this moment, this observation, this like moment in time with you in your heart that you're like, this could matter to other people. This could help other people. And it also matters and helps me. So I have to create it. And then once you're creating it, you're like, I want you to really love it and talk to me about it. And also, oh my God, I'm actually kind of an introvert. So like, you're talking to me about, like, it's this weird juxtaposition where it's hard to ever really fully enjoy any of it. Because there's part of you that's always a little bit like broken it off to the side. Like if you're just playing it for yourself, like, this is great, but I wish everyone could hear it. And then if everyone's hearing it, and it's like, can I talk to you about it? It's like, whew, this is great, but I'm overwhelmed now. And it's just like, so you're always kind of fighting
there's a
yourself.
Degree of separation also like on the stage. Like you can be like on this, like riding the thinnest vibe with everyone, you know, just like catching lightning. That you're just like riding this thing where you know that you are making everyone in the room feel the same way, and they're reflecting it back at you, and you're feeling more that way, and it's a continuous cycle, and it's amazing, and it's the best feeling in the world. And then off stage, someone's like, "Hi," and it's like, like, why?
Stop talking. I had that actually happen at a show we did in Santa Fe, and we had like, it was crazy. Like the audience was on fire. Like we were just like mind melded great. Like the guitarist Marco was like going crazy, like doing back bends and crazy like 70s Guitar Hero shit. It was just wild. And it was just like everybody was like firing on all cylinders and kicking ass. And we got off stage and he was like, great fucking, and I was like, I just like sat down and started crying. It was like, I was so emotionally spent from how intense the connection with the band and the crowd had been, that I was like, I need like 3 minutes of none of you people talking to me, because I just have to like get past like how intense that was. And then I'm in it again. I can go sell merch. I can be friendly. It's all fine. But like, yeah, I just walked off stage and he was like, yeah. And I was like, no, not right now. Wait.
Yeah, me and Matt, I think a lot of the mortals, we have to, but me, I am known for like a million things are going on and all of a sudden I'm gone for like 5 minutes, where I'll like go find a quiet place and vigorously vape for 5 to 7 minutes and then come back. But yeah, it's weird. I'm glad you agree. There's like something that's wrong that makes it so here we are. This is the thing that we can do.
Right. You know, I thought of a question I have for you is when did you write the first piece of music, whether that's a song or just a snippet or whatever, that made you know, like where it clicked, where you're like, oh, this is what I want to do?
I don't remember pretty much all of my childhood. But my first band that I ever had was with a friend of mine who like sang harmonies with me, and I got a djembe on vacation and we used that, and we would play when I was like, I don't know, 14, at like bars and spaghetti dinners. We have a thing, I just found out that this is regional, but like if someone's trying to raise money for a school or a children's project or whatever, we'll have spaghetti dinners where you come and you eat spaghetti and it raises money. But we would play stuff like that and played a bunch of covers, and I had started writing originals at that time, but I don't remember like doing it and being like, yes, this is I just remember being like, no, this is what you do, this is the thing, I'm already here, this is what's gonna happen, I'm doing this, that, and the other. And we went a couple of bands later, same people, just different iterations, different things. We went on our first tour when I was like 17, and I just don't really remember any time where I wasn't like, since I've been playing guitar, that I wasn't sure that like, no, there aren't any other options, this is what I'm doing, you know, I have to be doing this. How about you?
You know, it's funny, I started off as more of a poet and really thought that was going to be my road towards performance and artistry and possibly musical theater, because I really love old cabaret songs. So I was like, yay, it's going to be a thing. And then when I came out to California, I had a very, very close friends that were in this punk band. We were roommates for a while, and then when we weren't roommates, we might as well have been, because we were always at each other's houses. And we would all get super drunk. And then it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 of us would talk about the jazz combo we were going to make. We're like, yeah, because one of them like was a classically trained pianist, and one was like a really great jazz trombonist who'd won all these awards. And I was like, yeah, we're going to have a jazz combo, and I'm going to sing, and you guys are going to do that. Like, yeah. And then we were all very excited about it. But then like when we'd sober up, we were like, yeah, maybe later. And when I got my accordion and Vagabondage started, like very kismet sort of synergy moment where the first accordion band started, about a month later, I was at the guitarist from the punk band's house, and we watched Rio Bravo to celebrate his birthday, and he's like, you know, we really should have a murder ballad band. And I was like, let's do it. Like bluegrass murder ballad band, accordion, guitar. Well, we're done. So we named it Rhubarb Whiskey, which is a great cocktail that we invented. And we had this wonderful murder ballad band that put out 2 albums and an EP, and like, it was just great. And then he had to move to Wisconsin. Yeah. So I didn't actually start being in bands until I was in my late 20s, but I was always performing spoken word and like putting together. I've always been a really big curator as well as a performer, because for me, I can't see all these friends I have that have so much talent and not do something to try to make other people hear about it or know about their art. And so I end up in a curator seat a lot because I just have a lot of passion for helping people find art that's going to matter to them. And I'm lucky enough to have a lot of friends who are talented. So I'm like, no.
You're a
Yeah, listen to
community
my stuff,
maker.
whatever. But listen to all these friends I have. Like, they're amazing. And I am not as good at promoting myself as I am my people, but whatever. It all works out. It's like, as long as people get to hear art and it makes their life better, that's what matters to me.
Yeah, you're a connector. You're a community builder. I love that.
Thank you.
A quick nerd question. Sorry, y'all. And then I'm gonna play one because it's long. But accordion plus jazz. I mean, obviously, like French jazz, Django Reinhardt kind of stuff. But with the chords that are on the buttons, like, does it need to be anything different? Like, if you're doing like pentatonic blues, or for certain jazz, if you're doing like flat 5 add 13 chords, like, are there like special accordions that have different options?
The button side can do sevenths, and it can go down to a diminished chord as well. It can't, without combinations of chordal buttons, do very super fancy things. That said, I cannot play jazz on the accordion. I'm very much like a country music and sea shanty sort of accordion player.
Jazz is really hard and the accordion's really hard.
Jazz is hard anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to. I'll fake like a monophonic instrument in jazz. That's fine. Monophonic, for those of y'all who don't, it means like one noise, like a saxophone. But if you're playing like two things, then that's not monophonic. That's polyphonic. But yeah, like, I can like sing on some stuff. I can fake some. I can be a bad saxophonist, but like, and guitar, it's like, if it's the blues, it's fine. If it's the kind of thing that's just like, like changing chords every 2 seconds, no, I can't imagine doing that with an accordion. Especially, I didn't know you can combine buttons.
Yeah, you
Whole
can
new world.
do weird shit and like create very strange sounds that I don't know that people really want to hear that often. But there's actually there's a really great accordion player who's on John Zorn's Zodic label, who does very like avant-garde 20th century jazz accordion playing, and his name's Guy Kluvasevic, and he is amazing. And if
you're gonna have to
I'll put that in I'll put the name in. But
where's your accordion?
So
How
good.
do we do this? They're so loud.
Do a whole nother show where it's like accordion, and this is a sound check that will last 2 hours.
Yeah. You're
so
10
long.
feet away from the camera.
I know. Whoa. Yeah.
It's next week we're bringing on a bagpipe player. They're 50 yards away.
Yeah. You can't really see their face, but they sound great
We don't actually mic them. The sound picks up from
so far.
Yeah, we'll hear them from California. All right, I'm gonna play one. I'm not gonna switch to the single screen just yet, but in thinking about being vulnerable, okay, I'll switch. If you're muting, I'll switch to the single screen. Yeah, come back on for a second.
Okay, I'm back on. I didn't want to make any noise while you were starting.
No,
I didn't want to be horrible.
You're fine. This is just preamble. And thinking about songs that make me feel vulnerable, or things that I've heard that have like wrecked me or make me feel vulnerable, or that I feel that artist was very whatever. I really wanted to play The Cure. That's obviously a huge one for me. I think a lot of goth bands tend to be really like too cool and jaded for it all, and I feel like The Cure is so vulnerable all the time, even though Robert like can't be bothered. You can't bother Robert about most things. The songs are sometimes so small and so touching, and so like there's like tiny moments and things like I Love Him Close to Me, when he talks about like how he loves the sight of seeing his beloved eat in the middle of the night. Like, what a lovely little whatever. Are you a Cure fan?
Yeah. I am a Cure fan, yes.
Okay, that's
I
good.
spent many, many hours
If you,
listening to
why
Cure.
did I ask you? You just said you wrote poetry by yourself.
In the cemetery. Like,
In the
I was
cemetery.
all in. I was all in.
Yeah. No, I'm wearing a pin that says "Yearn for the Urn."
Oh.
I'm obviously, look at this room. I'm here with you. So anyways, all right, I'll let you go. I'm gonna switch over and I will give this a go and put on my reverb properly. This time I also decided to actually plug my instrument in instead of relying on just one microphone. Oh, my video's all messed up. Let's fix that. That's better, right? All right, y'all. So I love this show for the opportunity of just playing things that I've never played and doing them kind of raw. I think I did this one once for TikTok, but I did like 45 seconds of it. And I know I normally do 2 songs, but I'm going to do 1 because this one has 6 verses. So also, if you're listening to this and you haven't, go listen to The Cure. Even, I don't care who you are, go listen to The Cure. I've been looking so long at these pictures of you that I almost believe that they're real. I've been looking so long with my pictures of you that I almost believe that the pictures are all I can feel. Remembering you standing quiet in the rain as I ran to your heart to be near, and we kissed as the sky fell, and holding you close, how I always held close in your fear. Remembering you running soft through the night, you were bigger and brighter and whiter than the snow. Screamed at the make-believe, screamed at the sky, and you finally found all your courage to let it all go. Remembering you falling into my arms, crying for the death of your heart. You were stone white, so delicate, lost in the cold. You were always so lost in the dark. Remembering you, how you used to be, to slow drown your angels so much more than everything. Hold for the last time, then slip away quietly. Open my eyes, but I never see anything. If only I thought of the right words, I could have held on to your heart. If only I thought of the right words, I wouldn't be breaking apart my pictures of you. Looking so long at these pictures of you, but I never hold on to your heart. apart, my pictures of you. There was nothing in the world that I ever wanted more than to feel you deep in my heart. There was nothing in the world that I ever wanted more than to never feel the breaking apart, my pictures of you.
I'm in love with it. Like, I want a recording of that. I want to like make everyone I know hear it. Like, I'm in love with it. It sounded so good.
Thanks. Let me get your screen back up. I like that one. That one also sounds like it would be like poetry that
Right?
you write on an afternoon in a cemetery. But it's so small. It's so like in one, lost in one little moment, and I love that. Yeah, I just love covering The Cure. I just love The Cure. I'm very excited about
The Cure is great.
time. Oh, jeez. I wanted
We
to
can
ask
just own
you,
it. They're great.
I was thinking about it while I was playing, because that song, like the lyrics are so poetic and so lovely to look at. If for you, if like writing lyrics versus writing poetry are two different animals.
They're super different animals for me. Like, I feel like when I'm writing lyrics, I am super mindful of, how do I put this? It's not about being accessible, because Lord knows I've written some lyrics that are like, oh, here's like a bunch of 50-cent words and whatever, just because they made the most sense and they were right for the song. But I feel like there's a way in songwriting where I want the chorus to kind of come through with like the primary guts of the song, and the verses get to like help tell that story. And you know, the repetitive nature of a chorus, like the way that you can and like the repetitive nature of a melody throughout the verses and things, I feel like it helps pull people together through a story. So a song almost to me feels a little bit more like short fiction in terms of, or a short story that could be real in terms of how I'm pulling someone through to like have to share that moment or that experience. Whereas a poem, because for mine at least, you know, I didn't use any sort of devices or commonality of like a similar phrase that repeated a lot that like drummed a point home. It was much more of like a song is more of a journey where you're taking like local highways, and a poem is more like when you're taking the local dirt roads to get somewhere.
Said like a poet songwriter.
And like none of them are about interstates, like ever, you know. But you know, the song is more like at least
life is a highway. Would you
there's
say?
going to be like it's going to be roughly paved, and there'll be a couple of traffic signs. Whereas the poem is just like you're on a dirt road and anything could happen. You're like, oh look, there's a hairpin turn. I didn't expect that. Cool. Is the road still?
Sure. So your poetry, would you say, is also like less linear?
It is definitely less linear, and it assumes that the reader wants to take their time with the text and sort of let their imagination bloom in between the lines. Whereas a song, I have more of an assumption, and it's not really conscious when I do it, but it's like there's more of an assumption that people might want to sing along or kind of be able to have the point be clearer faster, so they can identify with the moment, with the words in the moment. Because like a book, if you're reading a poem, you can sit there and like, you know, like imagine or focus more on like what might be being said. You can take your time with it, whereas a song is so in its moment and gone. Because a listener can't take their time with it necessarily unless they listen to it on repeat a bunch of times. Like you're consuming it at the rate that the artist wants you to. And so if the words are going fast, I need to make sure that they're straightforward enough that people are going to still get what's going on and not be like, wait, I need to, thanks, Don. Not, like, that they can just like grasp what's happening and it's not so existing in a liminal space that they're like, wait, what is she talking? I don't want someone to have to listen on repeat to even know like what the hell the song is about, right?
Yeah, I think too, like, I came to Americana by way of my last band was a metal band, and like the amount of like $5 words that I would use in those lyrics, like you're not gonna write a country song and throw in the word lugubrious, like it's just not. It's just superfluous. Right. You don't need it. So I feel like when I started writing Mortal songs, I was like, Tennessee was the first song that I wrote, and I challenged myself of like, I'm going to do something simple, like, and trying to learn too that like, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Like it doesn't need to have, like, it doesn't need to have 18 million things on it. If it just like if what you're presenting, if you got good dough, you got good sauce, you don't need 18 toppings on it. And I think in some ways I was overcompensating earlier by like doing that, but I also like just learning different types of writing. But for me, I often think of like the hook. I think hooks are where I shine the most, the thing I like doing the most, and tend to be the most proud of in my work is like, oh, that's a good hook. But I think of the hook is like that's the thesis statement. Yeah. Whether it's like a story song or not. And I also came around to bridges with this album. I had sworn off bridges. I was like, these are stupid. I hate them. And then Chappell Roan's album came out, and I was like, I was wrong. Bridges are really fucking cool.
You're like, think of you. Yeah.
And I've come to think of bridges as the like, you have an argument with somebody, and the next morning you're in the shower, and you're like, and another thing, and you're, so that's the bridges or the and another thing of a song. But I get what you're saying. I have been trying to like simplify things more, but I love being sneaky. I love a little secret, and I want people to like get it, at some level, their first listen. But I also want to reward people that like on their 20th listen, they'll be like, are these right? Was this on purpose? And it's like, yes. And even if it wasn't, yes it was.
Well, and it's so like our own interpretation of our songs too, right? Like I think that my songs are like very clear about what they're about, and I'm like, straightforward, no problem, simplified it, made it clean, good country song. And then someone's like, wait, so that's about blah 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 blah, and I'm like, no. And then they're like, well, it's so like artsy and poetic, like I can't. And they're like, they come up with all these things. And that's one of the great things about songs is that people do figure out their own like attachment to them and their own meanings. But also, I've been told that my songs are not as straightforward as I think they are. But I think they're very like, come on.
That too, communication's just like, it's just hard. We have a couple of comments. Cody Black and Sheep says, this sounds amazing with banjo, thank you. And then Jill, who's our bassist, says, I work the same way with my poetry. What a great analogy with the dirt roads. Awesome. And I love that. And then she said my hooks are pretty sweet. So, yeah.
Not wrong.
Shoot, there was something I was going to ask you, and it just like shot right out of my brain.
So I'll get you on one. What, so you were in a metal band first. Now this is a little less, like that. What, how did you bring vulnerability to your performances in the metal band, and how is it different now? And how do you find a way to be vulnerable on stage? Because I am a used car salesman on stage. I try so hard to just be me, and I am kind of like, hey, how's it going? A lot of the time, but it's like, even if it's real, like how it's like the vulnerability on stage feels so hard to like just that be a raw nerve walking around, which is what I usually am, but it doesn't seem like it when I talk. So
Listen, that one's a longer question. I'm gonna make you play first.
okay. You're like, hold on.
Hold on a second. And then we'll get to that.
All right. Should start right now?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So this first one, okay, speaking of being vulnerable on stage, this song, even when I play it with the whole band, is mostly exactly what you're going to hear right now, which is me and the guitar, and then the bass might do something kind of spooky, like a single note thing, but it's it was the first song I recorded where I finger picked the whole thing. Anyway, it's super vulnerable. It's called Live Wire, and I wrote it during the pandemic. It's on our album Gold Country, Country Gold, because we recorded it in Gold Country. So, wait, what? When Saturday night's fun becomes Monday's trouble, putting whiskey in the tea to stop from seeing double. The Spanish station is on all night again. You're humming in your sleep and I'm dreaming of our friends. But old ghost haunted in these cities lost. We're all New Orleans in a bad cover song. I'm a mess of regrets and songs not sung till we're on the road again with no battles won. I'm a live wire with nothing to say, exploring the shocks and getting in my own way. It's hard to hold that pain, it's hard to hold the charge, but you need a live wire when you're lighting up a star. I'm an old ghost haunted in these cities lost. We're all New Orleans in a bad cover song. I'm a mess of regrets and songs not sung till I'm on the road again with no battles won. Made of scars, we're still standing tall. I've never been very nice at all. A smile and a wink is just a moment in time. Well, Babylon sings our final crime. I'm an old ghost haunted in these cities lost. We're all New Orleans in a bad cover song. I'm a mess of regrets and songs not sung till we're on the road again with no battles won. Till we're on the road again with no battles won. All right, so that song is called Live Wire, and it's terrifying, I'll say that right now, to be on a stage and just, that's it. There's like no buffer, there's no cheating, there's no like, any mistake you make, you're just like naked. So that one, I thought would be very appropriate to play.
Yeah.
This next one is one of those songs It's called Santa Cruz, and it's a song I wrote for an ex-bandmate. And it's one of those songs that when you write it for somebody, you send it to them first, so you know that hopefully... Yeah, I didn't get a blessing. I didn't get a blessing, but I was like, just so you know, you don't have to wonder if this is about you, because it is. And I still love you, but I'm not going to not write the song.
Before you start,
Yes.
throw the right side of your hair behind your shoulder.
Wait, I don't even know my right from... Oh, this one.
Yeah.
So, because it's going crazy and it's going...
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a good time.
It wasn't.
So
It wasn't too bad. It was fine. You're fine.
It's like a
continue. You're
percussion
great.
track.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So this is called Santa Cruz, and it's about a tour I went on with, I won't say the wrong people, but not the expected people. Just played a show in Santa Cruz, and you know you should call me, 'cause it's finally raining and the night, it's all empty. It's so empty. I know we drank a lot and there's no more wine. I know we sang those songs and I'm feeling fine. I'm totally fine. It's that night in Santa Cruz and you know you should call me, 'cause you moved out there to where no one can ever find you. They can't find you. Your punk rock friends say, Emch, hey, how's he doing? Your punk rock friends, you know, once they were mine too. They were mine too. They call me up and ask me how you are, but all I can tell them is you got some kids, and now you run a bar. I'm all alone in Santa Cruz, and you know you should call me, 'cause this was the tour we always dreamed we'd be doing, so why aren't you doing it? I'll take some pictures, sure I'll send them from my phone, but in such a crowd I've never felt so alone. Just played a show in Santa Cruz, drank all the wine in Santa Cruz. I'm in the rain in Santa Cruz. And you know you should call me. I tried very hard to continue flipping my hair away from the microphone as we went. It was the hair. It was like, I want to play percussion. Jeez.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Thank
That
you.
one, two different variations of how to be vulnerable in songwriting, where your first one's like very flowery and the second one's very direct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much more direct. Yeah, so I was thinking about it. I think when you're in a metal band, metal music is oftentimes, but not always, angry. And there is kind of a boundary set there where it's vulnerable in a different way, where you get to get out of a lot of frustrations, but it also allows you to not necessarily have to get into other feelings. So you can just like be punch a wall guy for as long or as much as you want, and bring that into your conversations as much, or as long as you want. So it's pretty different. I think when I started Bonnie and the Mere Mortals, I realized that like that wasn't what I needed. It wasn't what I wanted to express. It wasn't the exact music that I wanted to make. So I spent some time figuring out what is it that I want to do, and I spent a long time kind of curating that before I shared it with anybody. And one of the first big challenges that I came up to was like thinking about performing, and like I can't just like put my legs really wide and be like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" You know, like you can't.
Right.
You just gotta be like, "Hey, everybody," and like trying to figure out like how do you create stage energy without just being loud. You have to find like other ways of doing that. And I know your question had like 6 parts in it.
Sorry, I'm such a nerd. It totally did. I was like, wait, but so it's like this and then this and then that and then, yeah.
On that side of it, part A, I want to ask you similarly. You know, you came to country by way of not country. What made you want to go to this genre that is, you know, ideally 3 chords and the truth? I think country should be more of a vulnerable kind of songwriting than other things. What made you get over here? You know,
but it's funny because it wasn't on purpose at all. I started writing songs with the accordion band. We got kind of pushed into, other people heard what we were doing and said, "Oh, you're like Americana, but you're also kind of steampunk." Which I will just say that there was a certain point in time where if you held an accordion, they were like, "You're steampunk," and I was like, "Yeah, are we?" Like, this is kind of a sailor stompy song.
I spent 15 years not being able to wear brown, you know.
Right. So I was just like, sure. I'm like, we are whatever you say we are. If like you want to book us for a show and a festival where you're going to give us, you know, some money to play, we're whatever genre you.
I'll buy some goggles, whatever.
Sure. Like, they're like, I have stripy socks. I've been around for a minute. It's fine. So we got kind of pushed into the Americana genre by way of the steampunk community embracing us, which was generous and wonderful. But then my other band, Rhubarb Whiskey, was like a bluegrassy murder ballad band. And that was, in a lot of ways, we were watching Rio Bravo, and like we both loved that movie so much. We're like, Dean Martin, you know, oh my God. And we just ended up writing, our first song was like a country song. And it was like, okay, we didn't assume that was going to be what they all were. But then every song that we wrote together, it's kind of just like when I started writing songs, they just came out as country songs. Okay. And I was like, is this what we are? Are we a folk band? Are we a... It was super organic. It wasn't on purpose at all. I think that a lot of times our songs are so raucous that I'm like, are we a country band? And people are like, you are a country band. I'm like, okay, thanks for validating and reminding me. But, you know, I like so much music myself from such a wide variety of genres that I'm often like, I kind of don't want to micromanage my genre. So I'm just like, I just like good music. And so I try to just write good music, and then I think the genre placementing is much more about marketing and like the machine of it all, and just trying to help get it into the right ear holes of people who are going to like it. So mostly people who like country music like my music, so we're going to call it country. That's where I land. I'm like, it wasn't on purpose, although I've always loved Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton and Waylon Jennings. And you know, if I go back into a lot of the blues and, you know, jazz I've liked from like the 1920s and 30s, like there's a whole bunch of country influences in that too. So it's just like, I've always liked it. I just never liked the red cup, big truck genre, as I call it, for like new country. And I still don't, but it's just pop music. And it's a varietal of pop music that I don't love, but I know a lot of people do. And I don't really, you know, I don't take any umbrage at that. I'm like, rock out. Like, if you like music, go for it. But I think I will be shocked. You can't ever say never, because if you do that, you're jinxed to make it happen. But I will be very surprised if in my life there is a red cup, big truck, new country style song in my oeuvre.
I mean, Red Cup Big Truck really does sound like it could be your next hit. I think you should write a song called Red Cup Big Truck. Because
I mean,
good.
it could be like a pop culture examination of a certain genre of country song, and it's got a great hook that's like Red Cup Big Truck.
Red Cup Big Truck. Yeah.
Because to me, that's a genre. Like, people are like, new country, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, like that whole radio friendly, like, dudes who are kind of misogynistic, but only in a playful way. Whatever. Like, to me, it's all Red Cup Big Truck. Like,
Red Cup Big Truck. Yeah, no, you write that.
I'll try. I'll work. It's good. I'll put it on the list for like album 6. I'll put it on the list. Red Cup Big Truck.
Yeah. I mean, I call it post 9/11 country. But yeah, sometimes they're bangers though. Even if it's not, sometimes you have to. Like, there are songs that I don't necessarily love, but I can recognize that they're bangers. Yeah. Like, I don't want to sit in my room and listen to Cotton Eye Joe. However, it is undeniable that is a banger. And Red Solo Cup is one such song. And I hate Toby Keith. And I looked it up, and he did write it. So, I mean, it was right there for the taking. And he was just the guy,
It was right there. I mean, I will say that, Shania Twain, I don't put her quite in that genre, but it's a similar
she's
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, I hated that song when it came out. Now I'm like, I love that song. It's great. And it's
Sometimes
also
you need time,
quite a gay anthem. So it's like between the gay and the nostalgia, I'm all in on Shania Twain now.
Yeah. If you listen to that and you say, man, that, like, if she says, man, I feel like a woman, and you feel like that, like, you're a woman. Congratulations. Yeah. Welcome to womanhood,
Join us.
Yeah. Okay, so then one of my questions was, I think, part of your question, so I'm gonna do that and we'll both answer it. But we both are like little characters, we're both like a campy little hoot. And
I agree.
I would like to ask you, if being a character, do you feel like it allows you to be more vulnerable, or do you think it's a shield from vulnerability?
It's 1000% a shield. Like, no, I have no doubt. And I've talked to my therapist about this, actually, because when I was a kid, I grew up very much in like the sort of vibe where it was like, you are social and you are pleasant and you have good manners, right? And so I knew how to be like, and because of that, I would get taken to fun social things. Like, my parents would go to the bar and take me with them. Like, I would get to see live music at the local Elks Club, and it would be because I was well behaved enough that I'd get to go. And so I learned early that if I could have this sort of like happy-go-lucky, everything's fine, I'm friendly, I know how to talk to people, yay! It was a way of dealing with the fact that I was actually a super shy, introverted kid. But like, this version that was like friendly and like approved for adults would get me access to a more enjoyable life. Less time with babysitters, less time sitting home being like, I'm bored, I don't like this. I've always liked going out and being around lots of energy and lots of people, and like, that's fun. So I have learned that like the whole, and it's not real. I am a friendly person now, and I've dealt with the shyness mostly, but it is part of what allows me to get on stage without a lot of stage fright. Catholic school also helped, because you had to like read mass in front of 100 people twice a week. So, I learned how to speak in public and be like under a spotlight because of that, which I think is hilarious that I do credit Catholic school
Church
with making me be a queer country musician on stage. I'm like, thank you. That was great. You made me less worried about stuff. At least that stuff. Other stuff, different. Yeah. But I find that it's very hard to turn it off. So if I'm on stage and I'm like, hey, here's a new song. Hey, here's a new song. Like, yay. And like, I play at a lot of bars, so I tend to do faster songs that are kind of rowdier, more fun, get people dancing. And so if I want to play a ballad or a song like Live Wire that I played that's like super like naked and like vulnerable, it's really incongruous to be like, hey, so here's a new song called Live Wire. And then you're like, bloop, 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 bloop. And people are like,
see, but I do that, but I'll be like, hey, who wants to cry right now?
see, you're at least
like,
you're prepping them. Yeah, see how it's cry. And I have this wonderful friend, Meredith Edgar, who just put a new record out, and it's really great. And her whole thing is that she does sad songs, and like she's even got like a makeup situation on the cover where it's like, you know, tears running down her, like it's wonderful. And I'm like, and she's so like calm and like quiet and like perfect when she's like, oh, here's gonna be another like song, and like she's perfectly vulnerable and authentic and just there with it. And I'm like, I feel like when I do that, I'm like, I am so immediately out of the element that makes me comfortable on stage that I feel like I get really awkward. And then to me, part of my job as the singer is to not be awkward. It is to make the audience feel like I've got them. This is a safe, comfortable place. So if you want to have a feeling with this song, whether that feeling is like, yay, I want to drink again.
Make people want to like lean
in.
Like they can be
right.
quiet and back away, and people can just lean in. That's an enviable trait.
That is, and that's something that I'm working on. Like I will, you know, when I introduce a song, I'll like try to like bring the energy down and not be like, hey, here's, but it is challenging for me. And so I find it's definitely a shield, and it's something I've worked really hard to peel back when I'm on stage, whenever and wherever I can. And that can sort of result in me telling maybe more stories about where the songs came from, because in that I can slow myself down enough to like, you know, have the authentic feelings and the realness of it and not be so like, hey, but it's hard. It's really hard to be like, okay, everyone's really comfortable. We're all having a good time. I'm really happy. Hold on. I'm going to play something vulnerable. And now I need to just like strip that raw nerve of heart right out. That's Bosco.
Yeah, Bosco.
It's a dog toy.
Everyone say hi to Bosco.
Where is your head? There it is. Oh, cute dog. So I,
just
it's a shield, and it's super hard, but it's something I work on all the time, because the main thing for me is I just want to be authentic and real. And so the characterness is real, but also the being more raw about it is also real. So, and when people tell me that they've cried during sets, then I'm like, oh, okay, I did it. We used to have a rule in an old band of mine that like, because we had the Murder Ballad band had all these sad murder ballad songs and sad heartbreak songs. And we played like 4 shows in a row that were mainly for like, they were like lesbian house parties, and everyone came up to us after and told us how they cried. And so we started being like, is the rubric that when lesbians cry, we've done a good job? Because it kind of started to feel, because they were like really tough broads, right? Like it was like a super like tough, you know, audience. They're like, oh, we're like, you know, motorcycle babes are awesome and super wonderful and cool. And I was really happy to be playing like in a community, like my people kind of space. But I was like, we made these like tough people cry, tough babes cry. Like we're doing great, because it to me just told us like we were being real. Yeah. Like how many lesbians cried this time? Like in a positive way. They cried because they liked the song and it touched them. Like we're not hurting anyone's feelings and making them cry.
I do feel like the toughest lesbians are the ones that are going to cry to that, though. You know, no shade whatsoever. Reading some of the comments, again, Cody Black and Sheep 222 says that the song Red Cups Big Trucks should be gay.
It will be gay, I promise.
And Jill called us little creatures. And Cody also said, I can't be little hoot. Can that be a song?
Ooh. That could totally be a song. That's got a hook. Like, even the can't be little hoot. Like, I feel like it's right there.
For me, I don't know. Now I'm thinking that maybe it is a shield, but I kind of think of it from, I guess, a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that if my character doesn't allow me to bring down the energy and introduce vulnerable songs, then I need to introduce that to that character.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, to me, it's like a... have you ever heard someone say that to get over imposter syndrome, you just pretend like you're someone who knows what they're doing, and then you do what they do? I feel like that's like kind of how I look at like Bonnie Ramone on stage. It's like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but Bonnie Ramone knows. So I'm just going to do what Bonnie Ramone tells me to do in this moment. But definitely bringing the energy down and doing more vulnerable songs, especially if you're like a rowdy bar, that can be really, really difficult. Like, there's a bar we play in Knoxville that I love called the Preservation Pub. And we'll play like 3-hour sets, often from like, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes it's like 9 to 1 in the morning. And bars like that, really busy bars, at some point in the night, it's like nothing that the bar does wrong or anything like that. It means people are having a good time. It's a great bar. But as a musician, at some point in the night, the bar turns evil. And
oh yeah,
and you have to like plan accordingly. So like if you're trying to play a little acoustic song in an evil bar, it's just not, you just got to play John Denver and go to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a shield from vulnerability, but I also don't. It also allows me to do so much and allows me to be so much. So I don't know. It's like a sword and shield, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just perspective. And okay.
I definitely know that I have had multiple times though where like I've had a set and there's a definite like the sensitive song coming up and you can like kind of look at the audience and you're like, yeah, nope, this is not gonna land. You can just feel it. And I turn around and I'm like, we're not doing that song, we're doing the next one. And half the time the whole band's like, wait, we really want to play the pretty one. And I'm like, nope, hard no, we're not doing it.
Sometimes I'm wrong though too. I've done that before,
Yeah.
or like thought I shouldn't play something and we went into it anyways, and it was like, oh, then somebody comes up after you and it's like, I'm so glad you played that,
Yeah.
Sometimes there's one person. I'm gonna do one more, unless you, like I said, that was a longer question. Did we get to most of it?
Yeah,
Are
absolutely.
there other parts that we were missing?
I think we got through parts A through F.
Okay, good. I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
What is the most vulnerable part for you? The part where you're feeling it the most? Is it writing, recording, listening to the recording, showing someone the recording, performing?
It's bringing it to the band, for sure. Because I feel like when I bring it to the band, that's the opportunity, that's the moment where I feel I need to have them buy in to the song to know that we can like work on it and arrange it.
It's like handing someone your diary and asking them to publish it and like watching them read it.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, if they're not, okay, so I'll bring a song to the band, and if they're not in it on the first listen through, basically I pull it back and it doesn't return to the band for like 3 months minimum. Because I'm like, I got to sit with it and I got to think about, okay, the band didn't dig it. What am I trying to get out of this song that I didn't bring to the band in its current demo or iteration that I need to change? Sometimes the answer is nothing. Sometimes I just need, I need a different night when the band's in a different mood and they're like, oh wait, now we love it, cool. And sometimes I have a band member who talks just like that. So it's not a collective voice, but yeah. But if they buy in on the first listen, to me, that also is a great sign. Like that's, 4 people listening to something and their reaction is, we want to spend the next 6 months woodshedding this and making it perfect. And we're into it. And, so when the first reaction's like, I don't know, it makes me want to just take a step back and then figure out what I'm trying to accomplish with the song. And if it's actually there yet, if it's ready for the band to mess around with it. But that is the place where a song can go into hibernation for years sometimes, because I didn't get the reaction I wanted from the band. And I'm like, all right, song sucks. Never mind. Forget it. Never happened. And I was mentioning that song Dishes to you that I wrote while I was doing the dishes one time. And that song, I played it for 2 different bands I had, and they both were like, we don't like it. Nope. And so I shelved it for about 4 years, and then I had a tiny project that happened right before Secret Emchy. It was kind of like simultaneous. It was, are they going to be in the Secret Emchy band, or are we going to be our own band? And we were our own band for a hot second. And those dudes, they loved it. I played it for them once because I was just screwing around before we actually started practice because I'd like to play it. And they were like, wait, what is that song? Why haven't we recorded that? We got to learn that. And they were so incredibly into it. And I never thought I was going to have anybody have that reaction to the song because of what I had gotten back the other times I'd played it. And then it was very funny. We released that on an album, and then members of my old bands were like, why didn't you ever bring that to us? And I was like, I did, you big jerks. I was like, How about you?
That. I would say I feel it the most also probably then when I'm like first showing it to people. I feel so so raw. But I know some musicians that it's like they're most raw when they're performing all the time, and that sounds so exhausting. I don't know if I could be that many different people and go through that many different emotions every single night, every single time. That I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. And I don't know if it would benefit me to do that. I don't, if I would, who's to say? But yeah, when I make my little demos, and I'm sending it, I have a song I'm going to play in a minute. This new one that I just recorded, and I brought it to my producer, who was the first guitarist in the band. He's still in the barn, but he produces with me and records us. And I don't always know if something I write is good. Sometimes I write something and I feel really good about it. Sometimes, especially if it's more vulnerable, I'm like, is this just good to me? Does this just mean something to me? Or is, are people feeling it? Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs? So I sent it to Destin, and he immediately was like very excited about it. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's good. It's a good song. It's all right. But like the 3 dots of like sending him home demo and waiting for a response back to it, I was just, butthole puckered the whole time, Yeah, I'm gonna play that one and one other one, and then we'll get right back into this.
All right.
I'm gonna mute myself for a second so I can unplug Banji.
Okay.
Wait, this one. Okay, I'm back again.
Okay, I'm gonna mute.
Okay, and I'll put it on a screen with just me. Okay, so I played this song one other time on the live stream. I don't like this capo. I'm taking it off. So far, the title is "A Coffin Has No Pockets," and I tend to not write about things in the here and now. I'm very like metaphorical or very flowery or like different images or different things like that. And I wanted to process my feelings about everything going on right now. And I tried a bunch of different like methods for things. Obviously, like all of you. If you came here, if you're on this YouTube, then you're mad about what's going on right now. And if you're not, then please get off this YouTube. But, I didn't really want to write something angry. That's not what I wanted to leave. And and started thinking about like, what's my lane in things. And I really started thinking about grief. And one of the biggest feelings that I've been having lately is just the abject grief of, we were given these morals as kids, and we grew up in a world where we were told, you know, liberty and justice for all, or we had our parents or our pastors or our teachers or whatever imbue these values into us, and then as adults just watched that completely fall apart, and for them not to uphold any of that. And I've spent a lot of time with that grief, just thinking like, well, does the lesson matter? Do I still keep those things? Do I throw the whole person away? What do you do with that? And wrote this song about that. And we'll talk after this, Cindy, but, you know, introducing songs like this, and how much do you say, and how much do you talk, and what do you talk about? It's really, you know, vulnerable. All right. Reverb on, and it's not crazy, I don't think. And here we go. So this song's called A Coffin Has No Pockets. If you haven't, you give it. That's always what you say. If you don't need it, don't let it go to your head. When Graham got sick and all the air got thick, there's always dishes on the porch that folks had left. Those stone hands worn by years of toil wipe the tears from the promises you kept. What good's a soul if it's encased in gold? It leaves you no room to breathe. And if loving your neighbor means taking their home, and machines can feel for us, we're always alone. If loving a woman can make sense to you, and the children of Bethlehem don't deserve food, your words are ringing in my ear. It's all I can hear. If you need it, you'll get it. Good Lord gives just what we're owed. Years had been kind to you, but to hear you talk, you wouldn't know. And your front door seems shut more and more. Your old problems blamed on folks you never knew. Fires rage and the hollers drown, but the man on TV knows what to do. What good's a soul if it's encased in gold? It leaves you no room to breathe. And if loving your neighbor means taking their home, and machines can feel for us, we're always alone.
That was so good. I love that song.
Thank
Is
you.
that recorded out in the world, or is that too new for that?
I just recorded it, so it's like unmixed, unedited right now. I'm hoping to get a string arrangement on it. Yeah.
That'll be really good.
And learn to play better and sing at the same time. I'm gonna do one more that is recorded. I have talked about this one a lot, especially a couple of folks in here. I know y'all have heard me give my spiel about this a number of times, but this song recorded, Cindy, the version of it recorded is like very like Bowie glam. You know, it's my best effort at doing like an Elton John, Bowie John kind of thing. And it's called Take Me to the Moon. But to me, it's kind of universal about aspirations and believing yourself and whatever. But it's also like a statement of intent for me with what I'm doing. That like I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in what we're doing, and we're doing it. We're doing the damn thing. So I think it's a song of like a letter of encouragement to myself and also to others and community builders out there. And it's called Take Me to the Moon. I gotta remember how I play it. I think I wrote it down. Mr. Moon, cover us in golden threads draped in black to play for you. I won't be coming home anytime soon. The world is small and crumbling, and I'm beginning to receive a bloom. The flowers that you gave to me will take up too much room. Tell me, do they still have love songs out in space? Or will your faces just leave me out of place? Just take me to the moon. Don't be afraid. If you let go, the ties that bind the golden threads will still remain. The universe that bid you forth doesn't need to be in your brain. When the oddities of space embrace the distant earth, let you go. Not everyone will understand, but they will come to see the show. Tell me, do they still have rocket men in space? Or will the stardust just put me back in place? Just take me to the moon. Oh, take me to the moon. Oh, get me out of here. There we go.
Damn, that was so good. I'm going to like scurry off and go listen to the other version. I'm like, oh.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I clearly want a Bonnie Unplugged album. I mean.
Oh, we have one, but it doesn't have that song on it. Thanks for plugging that for me.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, to me those songs are like two different kind of sides of the spectrum of being vulnerable. Take Me to the Moon's very like flowery and heady and in my head and, you know, ruminating. Whereas A Coffin Has No Pockets is very more direct, linear. This is about this thing.
Yeah. I find, you know, political songs can be so hard because I struggle with them a fair bit because I would love to write more of them, but I feel like whenever I do, they are so brick over the head obvious that I'm like, okay, this is not a good song. It's like, this is like, you know, my 5th grade self is like mad about injustice, and it's like a song that's like, it's bad, stop being bad. It's just like not, you know, the sophistication that I'm used to in my songwriting. Like I have so many big feelings about it that like I can't get to like where it sounds smart at all. It just sounds like
also if
frustrated.
you say what's happening right now, it sounds like hyperbole. Like it sounds
right. Yeah.
It sounds insane. And some of the lines that I had were so like when I went through like 6 pages of lines, trying to find the right thing. And it was about me processing it too. Like the song was literally therapy homework. So it was me processing my feelings as well. But some of them were like so dark. I'm like, okay, I can't.
But you made like this really beautiful, powerful song that doesn't feel like, you know, brick over the head at all. It just feels really beautiful, and I got like connected and touched by it in the moment.
Oh, thanks.
And I will tell you, I have like so many thrown away drafts of like political songs where I'm like, and I showed it to a friend and they're like, it's a little brick over the head, you can do better. And I'm like, I know, but I haven't yet. So it'll the right one will come at the right time. But
I don't like having, when it comes to stuff like that, I don't I like to keep my specificity to like me and what I see.
Yeah.
Like I listen to a lot, you know, I played a lot of Tony Hawk, I did some skateboarding, you know. And if I go back and listen to like Bush era punk music now, where I'm listening to like these upper middle class white kids discover these things for the first time and then try to dictate them to other people, I'm like, you guys shut up. I hate this. This whole genre is mansplaining. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, there's some bangers for sure, but like, you know, oftentimes when I listen to that kind of, I'm just like, ugh, like, okay, like this doesn't really seem like your lane, and also stop mansplaining. But like, I'll never not listen to like, you know, Marvin Gaye.
Right.
Anything Marvin Gaye wants to tell me, please.
Right. Or like, you know, even like Guns of Brixton from The Clash, right? Like it's such a well done song that you're like, it doesn't feel like mansplaining, but it definitely is getting to like talking about a situation and like, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, I think just getting your story from that and not trying to tell other people's.
Yes.
And being that, you know, really getting into that and putting your opinions out there can be hard and vulnerable as well. So that brings me to great segue. How much do you want people to get from your lyrics?
I mean, I want them to get a lot. I actually feel really honored when people have told me that my lyrics have touched them. When, you know, going back to the crying thing, there have been non-lesbians who have cried as well. And when there was a time, so when I first started performing out a lot, you know, as Secret Emchy, there we had just gone through a lot of family loss. Like we had lost, like, you know, I just lost a lot of close relatives all in a very close amount of time. And so inadvertently, like the songs were a lot about grief and loss and death, but it was kind of like woven in between like drinking stories and missing your friends. And like, it was all just like woven together because that was what my experience was at the time. I was dealing with grief and elder care and loss and all that by being at band practice all the time and probably drinking too much wine, but that's a different story. But so a lot of the songwriting like really reflected what my reality was. And then when I would tour with these songs, I would be about to like perform them in like a rowdy spot where everyone's happy. And I'm like, well, here is a song about death and dying. You know, but I wouldn't introduce it quite like that, but I would try to be really real about some of the things that had inspired the music. And it was shocking to me how many people would come up to me after the shows and be like, I just lost somebody too. I can tell what I know what that song is about. And like, thank you for writing it. And like that they actually got like the soul wrenching, heart gut, difficult part of it meant everything. And then a bunch of other people would be like, oh, hey, that one song, that's a real banger. And like, they wouldn't get any of the grief and loss in it because they hadn't gone through something similar yet in their own life. So they just took it all as like analogies and cool and like just moved on with their life. And like, that was great too, because it helped me know that I could write about things that were so hard, but that the people that needed to connect with them in that way were going to hear it. They're going to like get it. And then the people that part wasn't important for them, they were still hearing it and getting something out of it and like connecting to that moment in time that I was capturing without it being as quite as overwhelming as it had been for me that made me write the song.
The music does a lot of work too.
Yeah.
I mean, I was cleaning and listening to Fleetwood Mac today, and
Best thing.
I think if you just pulled people over on the street and asked them, like, excuse me, sir, what's Landslide about? Like, what are the lyrics about? You know, a lot of people would be like, you know, but I think the music and Stevie's voice get across what like I saw an interview once with Christine McVie where she was like, no one knows what The Chain is about. There's the lyrics don't mean anything. And it's like, so she's on the damn thing.
Right.
So I think sometimes, you know, agonizing over specific lines, you know, as I do, the music does so much for it as well. But like, I am the kind of person that like, even with myself, I want to separate the art from the artist, and whatever you find in the lyrics, whatever you find in the song, then it's there. Like if that's what it is, then it's there. But like, would you feel comfortable for people like a sad song, a breakup song, an angry song, something that's very vulnerable for you to like have that, all of those details broadcasted?
The details that related to me would be fine. The details that relate to other people, like, no, because I don't feel like that's anyone's business, right? Like, you know, a number of my songs deal with like friend breakups or, you know, stressful situations gone wrong and things like that. And it's like, I can talk about the scenarios. I can tell you right now that if somebody starts to yell at me a lot, I'm going to shut down and walk away because I don't like being yelled at. But I don't need to talk about like, you know, who in my life had, you know, that rough moment where their choice was to start yelling. Like that's business between me and them. And like, I don't feel like there's anything to be gained from putting them on blast for it. Right. Like, I think that if you're trying to communicate a moment or a vibe or something to connect around, I think that who the players are, or like if the drama is even specifically real, right? Because we're songwriters, we're storytellers. Sometimes like you want to tell a story song, it might not be just your experience. It might be other people's too. I have like a text songwriting group with two friends of mine, and we were texting, and one of us was in Chicago at the Rainbow Room, and like every single line he texted was like a lyric, and I was like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. And then like me and the other one were like, ooh, and like we started writing this whole song, and then we're like a verse, chorus, half a verse in, and finally our friend was like, Listen, I'm having like a bad family emergency moment at this bar. Like, I appreciate that you guys think this is all very cinematic in terms of what I'm saying, but like, I need to not be in songwriting mode right now. I just need friends. And we were like, okay. And then later I was like, is it okay if I still use that? And like, I didn't, and he was absolutely like, yes, it's fine. But it was one of those things where like, anyone who hears that song is not gonna necessarily know what it was about, because what it was actually about in terms of what the story he was ended up telling us, the song veered in subject matter drastically as soon as I knew what was going on with him. I was like, okay, the story we thought we were telling, I'm going to keep telling that one, which is just like being in a bar and missing your friends and blah, blah, blah. The actual family emergency thing you're having, like, no, right? And that's just not, because it's not anyone else's story. It's not my story to tell.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
With your parts of it is like, obviously we have so much we can talk about, so little time that we talk on stage. Sometimes, sometimes I be yapping. But do you share those bits of yourself like online otherwise in your content?
I tend to. One of the ways that I really came to social media was through LiveJournal, like back in the day when that was a thing. And I, while I might filter, for friends specifically, if it's something that would impact like a job thing later, mostly I tend to be and try to be as much of an open book as I can, as much as is safe and responsible online. And I do not post often on things of like substance on like Instagram or Facebook, but when I do, it tends to be a very long thing that's like quite thought out and is as raw as being like a diary entry of my own. It's like I want to be honest and vulnerable and real about some of the struggles that I go through as like a queer person, with everything happening politically in the world right now, and like with just like the war and violence, and like we're all experiencing the world as it comes to us. Like it's really hard to take yourself out of your own skin and like experience someone else's. But I feel like if we can share our experiences in a way that is actually like deep and meaningful with like what's actually going on, feelings we're having, vulnerabilities, insecurities, all of it. I feel like if more of us do that, we have the ability to connect with each other and grow empathy in a community-based way with people that live completely different lives and experiences from me or from us. And then it allows the world to just be a little bit kinder, like one step at a time. Because I can't experience someone else's life, but I can read their story and then have empathy and be like, okay, they're almost never as black and white as they seem. And I tend to live in a liminal space in my head, in the world all the time anyway. And I want to be able to have that compassion or empathy or just space to give other people, that we can find places where we can connect, and where we disagree around some things, disagree like respectfully, and then figure out how to move forward. There are some things where if people are just like, no, like you should just like jail and murder gays and immigrants. I'm like, well, actually I don't want to agree to disagree, because you're actually like hurting people and causing violence. And like that's different.
I'm hoping with that song that, the first song I played, that like maybe some of the people that I feel that way about will listen to it and realize that they feel that way about some people in their lives too, and realize that maybe they should like, I don't know, like shut the fuck up and like listen for once in their lives, something like that. I have one more question for you, and then I think we're gonna end it out. When we were talking last week, you brought up vulnerability because you are thinking about maybe releasing a voice note.
I am considering doing that, and I still am considering it. I have a few friends who are producers, and one was like, I was like, can you take this and just like soften just to zhuzh it a little, like just make it so it doesn't sound like it's exactly a voice recording, because that can sound a little harsh depending on people's listening devices. But basically I I like the field recording sound that you can get from a voice memo. And the scariest thing about this particular song, and I cannot play it for everyone here. I'm not prepared for that. So just, I can't.
Stop
so
asking.
you'll hear it later.
Stop.
Stop asking. But the thing that, if I can get someone to just judge it slightly, and if this friend can't do it, I've got another friend I'm going to ask, is it will actually be the creation of the song is the recording. I had the idea in my head. I had not written any of the words down. I had the first line was written. I grabbed my guitar. I don't even know what chords they were anymore. Like I have to go back in and figure it out. And I ad-libbed the lyrics. I ad-libbed building the chorus. I ad-libbed the whole song, which is like 3.5 minutes long. And aside from repeating the word you at the end of 2 lines, that's driving me crazy. That's the only thing wrong with the song. The rest of it is, I think it sounds really, really cool. But the thing I can't repeat, which is the reason I want to release it as, I want to get the voice memo judged so that can be the version that's released, is that because I'm improvising the song as I go, I am hesitant and vulnerable. And like, it's very, the quality of the singing, once I know the words by heart, I'll never get it again. Because part of the thing that makes it sound so intimate and so raw, for lack of a better word, is that I don't know what words are coming next. They're just coming like directly out of my head and my heart. Like it's not pre-planned at all. And it turned out
what you're doing.
well. No, none at all. And then I listened and I was like, what the hell did I do? That sounds so cool. And like now it's stuck in my head all the time. And I'm like, I gotta relearn it so I can start playing it out. But I just love
I can't wait to hear it.
I love the hesitancy and the vulnerability of it because I'm just like, yeah, I'm so excited. And I'm just like, can someone just judge this a little?
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a big swing though. I love that.
Yeah, feels like a big swing.
Are you ready to play your last song?
Sure. Yes. So this song has a great story, and I'll a short story. But when I was going up to Canada to record my first record, I was gonna like make coffee for my wife, and she was still sleeping, and so she was like, I'm all jagged edges. Talk to me later. And I went in and started making the coffee because I knew she'd be getting up soon anyway, and wrote this song called Jagged Edges, and it like came out of my head also, kind of fully formed. And so when I got to Canada, I was like, do we have time to add one more song to because we were supposed to do 13 songs in 3 days with the core band, and then we were going to add solos onto it later when I wasn't there, but I could approve them. And I was like, do we have time to do more? And so we made time, and this got recorded as like a Dolly Porter style duet, but now I mostly just sing it as a me song. So it's called Jagged Edges. And it's for Charlotte. It's wonderful. You were all jagged edges with a hurricane mouth. I loved you too much to give in to doubt. I knew with what we had, we'd figure it out. We'd soften those edges while the storm moved down south. But we know what we need to find, so pour another bottle of wine. It's the time that you take and the love that you make. So grab my hand, little darling, and let's walk down that line. Well, like an angry old dog defending her food. Sometimes in this life I'm just not in the mood. We all have our good days, we all have our bad, but dancing with you always makes me less sad. 'Cause we know what we need to find, So pour another bottle of wine. It's the time that you take and the love that you make. So grab my hand, little darling, and let's walk down that line. Well, I'm making you coffee and watching you sleep. There's times in this life you gotta know who to keep. I'm leaving tomorrow, headed out on the road. I keep your heart with me wherever I roam. 'Cause we know what we need to find. So pour another box of wine. It's the time that you take and the love that you make. So grab my hand, little darling, and let's walk down that line.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, this is really great. I really enjoy this. I hope we get to do this in person at some point, at some time. You know, maybe in California or Pittsburgh or Nashville or something.
Something wonderful. I bet we can make it happen.
I'm gonna play one more. This song's called "Curses," and it's like one of our little barn burner songs. And I think it's funny. I think I wrote it partially to be funny, but also when at the beginning of the episode when you were talking about Queen of Assholes and how sometimes it's like aspirational.
Right.
I feel this song is also that. You know, it's people that I'm genuinely really angry with, but like I don't have it in me to like always not be kind. A lot of the times I can not care, but it's and I can write people off, but it's hard for me to just like completely not care. And some of the things I realized, Matt told me later, they're actually pretty mean, but a lot of them, I enjoy the like little Sicilian curses from the Golden Girls, you know, like may your sauce never stick to your spaghetti or things like that. So I think it's me being vulnerable, but like wrapped in a joke, you know?
Yeah.
But this song is called Curses. And with that, we're going to sign off, y'all. So thank you for hanging out with us here at By the Bonfire. We'll be back again soon. I don't have that figured out yet, but I will, you know. And this song's called Curses. Thanks for hanging out with us. Man, every single time you go to use the banjo, somehow it's out of tune. Nice thing about YouTube is you could just, if you're watching this later, you could just go ahead and zoom right past. That's better. Okay. I'll play days or nights. I will never have time. I pray your socks fall down into your boots every day, curses. thanks so much for being here with us. This has been By the Bonfire.